Alright, this is a Omega RailMaster. It's actually my son's watch. But he wanted a couple of links put in it. So I got as far as, and actually taken a link out already so you can tell. But the process is pretty much the same when you're putting it back together, but we'll do the whole process again. So basically you have these screws, and you need a pretty decent set of jeweler's screwdrivers, or just this set is a Stanley set that I bought relatively cheap on eBay. But so basically you have two screws on the other side. That you want taken out. And then there is a pin on the inside. And I had bought one of these on eBay, Amazon. It's like a jeweler pin remover. I just take the pin remover completely out. You just give it a little push. Then you can see the pin come out on the other side. You can see that pretty good. But that's the pin. And then that's going to be your extra clasp. Now, when you're putting the extra link in, see how the pattern goes. Kind of tell you got a flat side and then you got the curved side. Well, the curved side is going to go down underneath. So in case you miss out on that. Okay, so this link we're going to put back together again. Got my gloves nice and tight here. So I'm going to line that link up as best as you can. And then you're going to put the pin in. It's going to drop so far down. And then with your pliers, and ever so gently pick up your screws. Make sure you're not going to drop these things because they are tiny. I like to grab it kind of like on top. So that way you can place it right on top. It kind of sits in there nice and good. And with your screwdriver, just line it up. And make sure you go backwards a couple threads before you tighten it down. And then just tighten it nice and snug. Alright, then you flip it over. Make that nice and square. Then we're going to pick up the other screw. And put it very gently right on top. And like I said, go back a couple threads, make sure it's nice and straight on there. And just make sure it's nice and snug. Okay. Now let's put in an extra link. Now we're going put this back together again on the other side. And like I said, make sure that you got a flat side and then you got that little curved side to it. So you can kind of make sure you got the link pattern going the right way. Okay, and then this other pin we're going to put in. Make sure, give it a little wiggle. Make sure it sits down properly. I'm just going to press it a little bit, make sure it's in the right spot. Okay, so that's good. Pick up our other screw. Make sure that's set the right way. Trying to fish these screws out is getting in the right spot is always tricky. On the other camera view, you can see exactly what I'm doing. Just line that screw up a little bit better. Drop it right in. And same thing, you want to position that screw on top. And then go backwards a couple threads, and then forward. See how it's not going in? That means I don't have the pin straight, so we're going to pull the screw back out. And what I mean by that is the pin's not down all far enough. So we'll just push that down a little bit. That probably means the links aren't exactly squared up good. So we're going to take that little sucker out of the way. So you can see how it's not sitting up right. And that's because your links aren't nice and square at the bottom. So try to get that a little bit better. Now boom, see how, you can see how it slid down into that hole. Let me just try to get it. Angle just right for you guys. See how you can see it down in that hole. So it's kind of like sitting, that's probably about a good view. And I got my finger behind it so it doesn't slip all the way through, but you can kind of see where it's sitting. So this one I'm going to hold while I get the screw. So we're going to just drop it right into position. There we go. And then I'm going to again go backwards a couple times. Make sure you're sitting on the thread good. And then we go forward. And make sure you're nice and centered. Get a nice little squeeze at the end. That's good. And then the other side. Let's get the other screw. And then, like I said, we'll just drop it right in. Oh. I know there's some jewelers out there have some better tools than this, but there we go. Drop it in just like that. And then back up a couple threads, make sure we're nice and even on that. And this is where the block comes in handy because you can make sure that you got that screw nice and square. Nice and tight. Check some of these other ones out while we're here. Yep, here you go. That is your Omega RailMaster. And then that's how you replace an extra link. So hopefully that was helpful. I didn't show you the whole process, but I'll give you a general idea. And then the Omegas have that nice little clasp there. But hopefully I'll give you an idea of how to change it. Any questions, comments, please leave below, and I'll put the links for a couple little things like the little watch block, and then this little push pin thing that comes in handy for a lot of different watches, not only just an Omega. Then I'll put in a little jeweler kit that I use, but these things were the basically it's Stanley little screwdrivers I found to be the best. This was the 1.44 millimeter. Kind of hard to see the logo with the light and stuff, but you get a general idea. And it came in a nice little set. But anyway, hope you liked it. Thanks.